Have you ever sat in a quiet room, looked around, and realized it's just you? No one to cook for, no one to talk to, no one to ask how your day was. At first, maybe it felt peaceful. No more noise, no more mess. But then, after a while, that silence starts to echo. And it doesn't feel so peaceful anymore. It feels like something's missing. If you've ever felt this way, I want you to know, you're not alone. Even when it feels like the world has gone quiet, your life still matters. You still matter. Getting older often comes with unexpected changes. Friends move away. Loved ones pass on. Children get busy with their own lives. And suddenly, the house that once felt full of life feels too big, too quiet, too empty. But here's the truth most people don't talk about. Loneliness isn't just about being physically alone. It's about feeling disconnected from others, from purpose, even from ourselves. And that's what we're going to talk about today. Because being alone doesn't have to mean being lonely. In fact, this season of life, this time when you're more with yourself than ever before, can become one of the richest, most meaningful chapters yet. But it takes intention. It takes heart. And it starts with a few simple shifts. Let's begin with something that may sound small, but it changes everything. Creating structure in your day. When you're on your own, no one's knocking on your door telling you what to do. There are no school drop-offs, no office meetings, no appointments unless you make them. At first, that freedom feels great, but too much unstructured time becomes a trap. Days blur together. Motivation slips. You lose track of when you last cooked a proper meal or stepped outside. So give yourself a rhythm. It doesn't have to be strict, just enough to give your day a sense of purpose. Wake up at the same time each morning. Make your bed. Have a morning ritual, even if it's just tea by the window or a short walk in your yard. Plan something, however small, for each part of your day. That little bit of structure adds meaning to your hours. And meaning is what lifts you when life feels quiet. Now let's talk about your space. When you live alone, your home can either comfort you or drain you. And you might not even realize how much it's affecting your mood. Clutter piles up. Old furniture gathers dust. Rooms you once used sit empty. It's easy to stop caring. But your home reflects how you feel about yourself. So make it a place that supports you. Clean one corner at a time. Let in light. Bring in colors that make you smile. Frame a photo that reminds you of a happy time. Play music that stirs your soul. You don't have to do it all at once. Just make one small change each day to reclaim your space. Because when your surroundings feel warm and alive, you will too. And while we're on the subject of surroundings, let's talk about movement. Yes, exercise, but also just moving. When no one's watching, it's tempting to stay in your chair. You sit to watch the news. You sit to eat. You sit to think. But your body still craves motion. Movement is more than health. It's energy. It's mood. It's life. Even if it's just stretching in bed before you rise. Even if it's walking to the end of your block and back. Even if it's putting on your favorite song and swaying in the kitchen. Move your body like it still belongs to you, because it does. You haven't lost your ability to feel strong. You may just need to remind your muscles. And now, let's move into something even more powerful, connecting with others, intentionally. When you're on your own, it's easy to think no one notices, that people are too busy, that you're forgotten. But connection isn't about waiting for someone to knock. It's about reaching out, even when it feels awkward or uncomfortable. Call that friend you haven't spoken to in a while. Say hello to the cashier at the store and mean it. Join a group online or at your local center. Write a letter, even if it's just to say, "I'm thinking of you." People are out there. They want connection too. But someone has to go first. Let it be you. Your voice is still needed. Your presence still matters, and there are people who would feel blessed to hear from you. If that idea feels scary, start small. A smile, a greeting, an invitation for tea. You're not too old to make new friends. You're not too late to rekindle old ones. And if no one's called you lately, maybe it's not because they don't care, but because they don't know how much you'd love to hear from them. Tell them. Reach out. Take that first step. It might lead to something beautiful. Sometimes, the hardest part of being alone isn't the silence. It's the feeling that you're invisible. Like the world is moving on and you've somehow been left behind. But let me tell you something. You're still here. You're still breathing. And as long as that's true, your story isn't over. One of the most healing things you can do when you're alone is to express yourself. Because when no one else is around to hear your thoughts, your own heart needs to. Write in a journal. Record your voice on your phone. Tell your stories out loud, even if the room is empty. You've lived a life full of memories, lessons, and laughter. And every one of those moments deserves to be remembered. Start by writing one memory a day. Not for anyone else, just for you. And maybe someday, someone will read it and feel less alone because of what you shared. Your words can live on. Your voice matters. Speaking of voices, have you talked kindly to yourself lately? We all carry an inner voice. And too often, when we're by ourselves, that voice turns critical. It reminds us of regrets, of mistakes, of the people we miss or the things we've lost. But you have the power to change that inner conversation. It starts with awareness. Catch yourself when you think, "I'm useless," or "no one cares," and gently replace it with, "I'm still here, I still matter," or "Today, I will do something that nourishes me." Your mind listens. Your heart responds. Self-kindness isn't fluff, it's fuel. It gives you strength to stand up and keep going, even on days that feel empty. Another way to bring light into your life is by finding something to care for. It could be a plant, a pet, a garden, even a neighbor who needs a little help. Caring for something outside yourself brings meaning into the quiet. It gives your day a sense of responsibility and joy. Watching a flower bloom because you watered it. Hearing a cat purr because you showed up. These little things, they matter. They're reminders that life still flows through you and around you. When you feel needed, you feel alive. And you are needed even when no one says it out loud. Let's talk about creativity for a moment. When we're alone, our minds can start looping through the same old worries. One of the most powerful ways to break that cycle is to create something. Paint, knit, bake, write poetry. Make something with your hands, with your time, with your spirit. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be yours. Creative expression is healing. It gives your emotions a place to go. It turns the invisible parts of you into something real. And when you look at what you've made, you'll remember there's still beauty inside you, still magic, still life. Now, one thing that often gets ignored when we're on our own is laughter. We stop laughing. We tell ourselves, there's nothing funny about being alone. But even in the quiet, you can find joy. Watch a silly movie. Read a comic strip. Call a friend who always makes you laugh. Laughter doesn't solve everything, but it softens everything. It lightens the load, even just for a moment. And those moments add up. They give you energy. They make your heart feel lighter. You deserve to laugh, even if no one else is in the room. You deserve moments of lightness, even if your days feel heavy. You've been through a lot. You've earned that joy. So let it in. Let it live here with you. And let it remind you that this season, no matter how quiet, still holds room for happiness. There's something deeply powerful about realizing that being alone doesn't mean you've been left behind. Sometimes it's an invitation to come home to yourself, to reconnect with your own thoughts, your own values, your own rhythm. But it also means learning how to comfort yourself in moments of sadness. Because yes, there will be those moments. Grief can sneak in unexpectedly. You'll hear a song, smell a dish, see a photo, and it hits you. That person is gone. That chapter is closed. And you're still here. And it hurts. Let yourself feel it. Don't push it away. Don't tell yourself to be strong and silent. You've earned the right to cry. You've earned the right to miss them, to miss what was. But then, when the tears slow down, do something small to remind yourself you're still living. Take a walk. Light a candle. Say their name with love, not pain. Turn their memory into something that warms you, not something that freezes you. Grief is a visitor. It may never leave completely, but it doesn't get to be the only thing in the room. Let joy have a seat too. Let peace sit beside you. Let hope come in, even if just for a while. And one of the best ways to invite hope is to give. That's right, even now, even on your own, you have so much to give. Volunteer at the library. Offer to read to children. Cook a meal for a neighbor who's struggling. The act of giving fills the cracks loneliness leaves behind. It reminds you of your value. It proves you still have a role to play. Because you do. The world still needs your compassion, your patience, your lived wisdom. Don't hide it. Don't tell yourself you're too old, too tired, too far removed. You still have purpose. You still have gifts to offer. And there are people out there who would be grateful to receive them. Don't be afraid to ask for help either. You've been strong your whole life. But strength isn't just standing alone. It's also knowing when you need a hand. If you're struggling, emotionally, physically, financially, reach out. Call your doctor. Talk to your pastor. Let your family or your community know. People can't support you if they don't know you're hurting. And there is no shame in needing others. We all do. Being open about your needs is not a weakness, it's wisdom. And it allows you to heal, to rest, to begin again. And maybe most importantly, when you're alone, never stop dreaming. You still have time. You still have choices. There's still more for you to see, to do, to feel. Maybe it's taking a trip, even a small one. Maybe it's learning to paint, or speak a new language, or join a choir. Dreams don't belong to the young. They belong to the living. And you are still very much alive. So close your eyes, picture something new, and take one step, just one, toward it. You might surprise yourself. You've made it here with me, and that means something. It means you care about yourself. It means you haven't given up. It means you're still willing to grow, even in the quietest moments of life. And that's powerful. Being alone isn't always a choice. Sometimes life simply shifts. Sometimes people leave. Sometimes you wake up and realize that the world around you has changed more than you thought it would. But here's what hasn't changed: your ability to choose how you show up each day. Your ability to decide how you'll care for yourself, how you'll think, how you'll love, how you'll live. Yes, even now, even after everything. So as we come to the end of this conversation, I want to leave you with something simple but strong. You are not just filling time. You are still creating a life. One day at a time. One breath at a time. One small act of courage at a time. Loneliness may visit, but it doesn't have to move in. Because your heart still beats with purpose. Your hands can still create beauty. Your voice still has meaning. You can choose to wake up each day and ask, what can I do today to feel alive? And the answers are there. In a walk through your garden, in a conversation with someone who cares, in a cup of tea sipped slowly with a window open to the breeze, in a song, a prayer, a moment of laughter. This is not the end of your story. It's a softer chapter, yes, but one with its own kind of magic. One with more space for reflection, for peace, for rediscovery. So give yourself that gift. Choose to live these days fully, not just pass through them. And if you felt moved or comforted by this video, I'd love to hear from you. Leave a comment and share your thoughts, or tell us one small thing you're going to do this week just for you. And if this message touched your heart, give this video a like. It helps more people find this space, this warmth, this community. And don't forget to subscribe to Strong Elderly Life. We're here every week with honest, uplifting, real conversations for those of us walking this stage of life with strength and soul. Because you're not alone. Not anymore. We're walking with you. Here's to your peace. Here's to your strength. Here's to living your best life. Right now, right here, just as you are. You've got this. And we believe in you.